Hello, my name is Ash, a counselor in training. This is my Relatable study podcast for individuals who need help studying for their NCE, CPCE, and other related counseling exams. I'm going to go through many questions from multiple resources and make the answers relatable to both you and me. So get your listening ears on and let's get studying. In experimental research, the researcher states a null hypothesis. A null hypothesis states that A. There will be found between the experimental and control groups. B. The difference between the experimental and control groups are due to change. C. There will be no difference between the experimental and control groups. D. Both B and C. The answer is D, both B and C. In the experimental research, the researcher states a null hypothesis. A null hypothesis states the difference between the experimental and control groups are due to change, and there will be no difference between the experimental and control groups. I recommend reviewing the null hypothesis and doing more research because statistics are not my strong suit, and it's hard for me to understand statistical material. What is the parietal lobe? The parietal lobe is the region of the brain that is responsible for processing sensory input and information, which include touch, temperature, joint position, pain, and spatial awareness. It is located towards the back and top of the head. You process your client's feelings about his wife's sexual affair during a counseling session. He states, "She has been unfaithful, so she clearly no longer loves me." Which response displays the use of the vertical arrow modality? A. If that is true, then what does the future of your marriage look like? B. Does this mean you have no hope for fixing what your marriage looks like? C. How does this change your relationship? D. What could your wife do to prove that she still loves you? The answer is A. If that is true, then what does your future of your marriage look like? This is the response that displays the use of vertical arrow modality. The vertical arrow technique is how you identify, understand, and contradict self-defeating beliefs, where you identify a negative thought about a situation which is upsetting, then you identify a second negative thought, then a third, and then any additional negative thoughts. The best example of this is a very old meme which states, "You lose your pen, no pen. No pen, no notes, no notes, no study, no study, fail, fail, no diploma, no diploma, no work, no work, no money, no money, no food, no food, skinny, skinny, ugly, ugly, no love, no love, no marriage, no marriage, no children, no children, alone, alone, depression, depression, sickness, sickness, death. So if you lose your pen, you will die." That is the best example of the vertical arrow modality, and quite frankly, I am trying so hard not to laugh because I remember when this meme was circulating. But if you have any other examples of the vertical arrow modality, I would love to hear them down in the comments. What is parole counseling? Parole counseling is designed to help support reintegration, reduce recidivism for individuals who are released from prison and who are now on parole. It is a modified self-help group to provide support to those who are paroled to reduce their delinquentism and to enhance their self-esteem. What does a correlation strategy measure? A. How strong the relationship is between things. What does a correlation strategy measure? A. How strong the relationship is between things. B. The way in which the experiment is conducted. C. The strategy for graphing the experiment's results. D. The validity of a research study. The answer is A. Correlation strategy measures how strong the relationship is between two things. Correlation measures the extent where two variables are related, whether in a positive, negative, or no correlation at all. That is all 5 questions. Thank you for listening. Keep calm and study on.